How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alan Staley, and this is Slinging Dirt with Staley, and we are back for Season 3. On this week's episode, driver of the Richards machine, Big Deal Car Care, Subway on the side, number 1R, E-Modified from Lincoln, Nebraska, 14-year-old Cade Richards. Cade may be young in age, but he's more than a seasoned veteran behind the wheel, having competed for over a decade now in various sanctions and styles. Cade's claimed karting all-star pole position wins, a karting dirt track series championship, feature victories, as well as Rookie of the Year accolades in just his first full season of E-Modified competition. He's raced in Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, South Dakota, and the list goes on, as does his accomplishments behind the wheel. As another veteran of the Atchison County Raceway Kids Modified Division, I've known and seen Cade's talents for a few years now, and what else can I say, but I'm continually blown away by his work ethic and maturity level. Cade's someone who works on his own stuff. Check out his Facebook stories to basically see him put together and build his own race car. His passion is pure, always stepping up to go above and beyond for any community effort in the racing world. Through staying humble and putting family first, this straight A student in the honors program off the track has a winner's mentality. Cade's future is his for the taking, and it should be exciting to see what this young man accomplishes. Having recently returned from being sidelined due to an arm injury, Cade joins me on the show to talk about his future plans and how he's adjusted to not racing full-time this year. Plus, Cade talks about how much his family means to him, if we'll ever see him in a sprint car, and his own Mount Rushmore racing. All that and more on an all-new Slinging Dirt with Staley. Special guest Cade Richards starting right about now.
My dad's been racing all his life. When I got old enough, I always had an interest in it, and he bought my first go-kart when I was 4,
So you come in from the ranks of the go-kart racing. At what age did you switch from go-karts into the full-size cars that you're in now?
I raced go-karts for 6 years. I started when I was 4 and then switched into the modified when I was 10 and been racing that ever since.
Did you have any success in the go-kart world?
Yeah, I raced a flat kart in the Stars of the Heartland kart series. It was ran by Maxis, and that was a pretty neat deal. They usually got 50 to 60 karts in every class, and really good competition and real fun to go different tracks and try it out. A good learning experience, kind of cutting your teeth into the racing world. How long did it take for you to adjust to the full-size cars coming from the go-kart world? It didn't really take that long. It was just the consistency aspect, and not just the driving. That's not the easiest, but it's not the hardest. It's the lap after lap, consistent, hitting your marks, and just faster every lap. So,
why the number? Is there any big significance to the 1R?
When I was little, I just liked my dad and how good he was, so just thought I'd be 1R like him. Again,
just carrying on that kind of family tradition. Do you have any race day rituals? Like some drivers can't wear green, some can't eat chicken. Do you have anything that you have to do on race day?
No, I don't really have any superstitions.
Any fear?
No. Just
don't think about it?
No.
How's the arm?
It's been feeling better.
Yeah.
I thought I was ready a few weeks ago, but Mom wasn't letting it happen.
Yeah, I don't really want to harp on it too much, but beginning of the season was awesome for you. You were leading the points, and then you have the arm injury. It takes you out of kind of contention for the point lead. What does that do to the mental aspect of it?
Honestly, it kind of bothered me at first. The first week and a half, it was kind of getting to me, but after a while, I knew I'd have more opportunities in the bigger ranks, so lately I haven't really let it bother me. It's given some other people that might not have the opportunity again that's going to have it, so it's all right with me, I guess.
That's a cool way to look at it. Like, you'll have your chance in the sun. Just, it's understandable how bothersome it could be. What goes on in your mind when you're in the staging area?
Sometimes I think about the car in front of me, and you can guess what they're going to do by how they drive every other week. If they're going to push up, get sideways, go low, and you try to play it back, but then once you get out on the track, you don't really think about it. You just look for the holes and try to get up there. So,
any rust
after you came back?
It didn't look like it.
I didn't think so.
We didn't get the luckiest night back. Got a flat on the first lap, so was just running with the right rear flat on a hammer down, and then got into a spinning car with 2 to go while we were running 5th. So
what would you say is the biggest positive of racing?
The positive is you have to be a team player, and there's people behind you, and you have to talk with everybody about the setup, what the track's doing, but then it comes down to just yourself, and you have to be mentally strong to not think about everybody else and your competition. So
now on that, how are you viewing these other drivers? Is it competition or camaraderie? Friends before, when we're on the track, everything's out the window? It's
usually just competition. If I have a friend on the track, don't really think about it because you don't look at the numbers, but
everybody's a competitor when you get out on the track.
Yeah.
Where does the motivation come from? Why keep doing this? Is it just a passion?
Yeah, it's just love doing this. It's really fun. Like I said a few nights ago while we were working on the car, I want to come back he's running Super Nationals. I usually don't race, but I want to keep racing and keep going because I was out for so long. And
where do you want to see your racing program progress to? Is it NASCAR aspirations, or is it straight on dirt?
Right now it's kind of dirt because I have the opportunity to practice my dad's sprint car this year, and then I have somebody that says they'll give me a ride in a sprint car next year if I supply the motor. So
wow, you thinking 305, 360?
I would think 305 because everything else is so expensive.
Yeah, it really is. You talk about your family a lot, and anybody who knows you knows the Richards family. You're always at the track together, always smiling, having a good time. What does that mean to you personally?
Just spending time with the rest of my family, and it's real fun, not just at the track, because most people just come to the track and they're all together, but we're usually together 3 or 4 nights a week because we do all the work to our cars.
Yep.
Last week we ruined a bumper and some of the nose piece, so we had to re-weld our own bumper and then bend the tubing and all that. So it's real fun working on the cars, learning and all that, and then the setup. And
it's inspiring to see somebody of your age working on the cars and doing the things that you're doing in the shop. When did you start doing that? Were you just doing it ever since you were little, basically?
Yeah, I always helped out on the flat cart and the cage cart, but you didn't really have to do anything to the go-karts. They bend some sheet metal sometimes, change a tire, which isn't that hard in those. But then now you have to work on your own car, and we make all of our bodies, and then we do our own changes. So I've probably touched every bolt on that car, and I think it's really fun.
Yeah,
not having
you get
somebody else
exactly.
do it.
You get a sense of I did this. This is mine. I made this.
Yeah, when it runs good on the track and you win, it's real refreshing that you did all that to your car and nobody else. You had some help, but nobody else was doing it for you.
Exactly. Is there anything like that first win?
No.
No.
Just winning a championship would be pretty cool, but
yeah. Can you tell me what was going on in your mind? Take me through the last lap of that first win.
That was a green-white checkered, so it was kind of nerve-wracking, but once we got going, I was just trying to hit my marks on the bottom. I could see whoever's behind me diving in there and trying to get in beside me, but just holding the bottom.
You held your ground, yeah.
Yep. And just try not letting that get to you in the car.
What about the biggest wreck or the scariest moment you've had in a car?
I haven't really had one in the modified, but in the go-karts, we used to race in event center. It was indoor where a horse track was, and they had wood pallets, and it was 1,000 to win. Yeah. And I was running top 10 at least, and winner takes all, and I got punted into the wall and hit it kind of head on, and got hit again. Yeah. It's such a tight track. and that kind of made me nervous about going back there. But
how do you come back from an accident like that?
I never did from that at the event center, but I did at other tracks because it's so much wider and so much bigger. It doesn't affect me in the modified, but I tried getting back into one of those go-karts and I just could not do it. It was not the same. But
what's your favorite track? Are you a short track versus a long track, narrow, wide, high bank, low bank? What's your cup of tea?
I kind of like the high banks, and then when it gets slick, I kind of like that because then the driver comes out.
Yeah, the driver really comes out.
And you have to use your brakes, the throttle control, all of that, and that's usually what I like to see because then some cars don't do as good, and you can just get out front, and then usually I can do pretty good on those kind of tracks.
Yeah. Slide job or crossover?
I haven't really had that situation, but I think I'd like to do the slide job. That one.
They just look pretty.
Yeah.
Favorite pre-race meal?
We don't really eat before we come to the track, so usually it's just jerky, chips, and a Gatorade. In the truck.
Is that the post-race beverage too, the Gatorade, get rehydrated?
Yeah, if we have one in the cooler.
Yeah.
Or it's a water, and then I'll maybe come up to some concessions and get a burger or something. And
what about stopping at Casey's on the way home? Drink snack combination there?
Yeah, it's usually just jerky, chips, or Gatorade, so yeah.
What is your dream car? Here in a couple years when you're actually of legal age to drive a car, what is the ideal grocery getter that you want?
A 69 Camaro would be pretty cool to have.
That would be pretty cool. Hollywood is calling. They're making the Cade Richards movie. Who plays you?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. So it's going to be a comedy right out the gate.
Yep.
Anybody you want to give a special shout out to? A thank you for helping you in your racing program along the years?
Of course, my mom and dad. They've been helping me all the way and supporting me. Then we have to thank Subway. They've supplied some food. They've
been with you from the gate, haven't they?
Yep. They used to. A feature win would be a free party there, and I could bring friends, and they could get anything they want.
Nice.
Now it's just I can walk in, they know who I am. So
that's pretty cool.
It's right next to the shop, so when we're working late, we can just go over there, get a sandwich, and eat it there.
That's pretty awesome right there.
Yep.
What is the plan for next year? Are we thinking the sprint car?
Well, I think we're going to run some sprint car no matter what, but then we might run some sport mod too, which I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because I had that opportunity in the sprint car with him saying he would do it if I supply the motor, and I think that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one to turn down. What has been the highlight so far of your career?
Even though we didn't win the championship this year, and last year we got second, it's been a consistent top 5 every night past 2 years, and we haven't had any hiccups except for some mechanical failures,
and some body issues.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the sport of racing that racing has taught you can then apply to your regular real world life?
Just the sportsmanship, having a good time, just all that, just laid back kind of.
Final question of the show, kind of the staple of Slinging Dirt with Staley here. What is your Mount Rushmore of racing? Top 4 drivers in your mind?
Well, asphalt, I'd say Kyle Busch. That might shake a few heads, but
yeah, they'll get over it.
Probably Steve Kinzer. He's
the king for a reason.
Yeah. And then
you got 2 more.
I kind of like Kyle Larson too.
Young Money's a good choice.
And then I'd have to go with Ricky Thornton because of how good he's been doing in the modified.
Yeah, and you heard the big news here recently, didn't you? Moving up to the late model class. So that should be interesting to watch for the remainder of the season. Speaking of interesting to watch, you're always fun to watch out there on the track. I wish you the best of luck for the remainder of the 2018 season and going forward. And again, buddy, thank you for being on the show with me.
All right, thank you.